Knowing that we are all here, that we've chosen to be here, that as I said before in our treatment, John and our treatment, that this is a demonstration, that every Sunday that we come here is a demonstration of our intent to keep this thing on the road, to keep it on the rails, and to keep it going. And every Sunday we do it. We come here, we do what we have to do, we say what we have to say, we celebrate the teaching, we celebrate each other, we celebrate love, we celebrate joy and happiness. And I know for each one here that they are able to find some semblance of stillness and wholeness, and to know that this is a safe place to know God. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Our hearts are ready to receive.
All right.
Good morning, I'm Jon Heron. I am a practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. And Reverend Rich is absolutely right.
Yeah.
We are today the presence of the divine. Here we are. And those of you who are watching from home, you are a part of it. Understand that when you focus on the divine, you become part of the divine. You're an expression of it. And we are, the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton, we are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. And today I'm the person who's going to be speaking. Reverend Rich's little treatment there is perfect for the beginning of what I would like to share today. Next week is going to be a workshop, because we have many people who come here and they're somewhat new to the teaching, and I feel that it is time for them to pray with us, for them to do spiritual practice with us, and to learn how to do it. Because we do a certain kind of spiritual practice called spiritual mind treatment. I'm going to be talking about it today. And next week, you can come and join us in a workshop. I think I will actually do it in this sort of setup so that we can have the camera going. You at home can join us. And you can learn how to do spiritual mind treatment. It's actually, in the beginning, it's a very simple process. You will learn how to do it, and also you'll get the opportunity of asking questions, because we have many practitioners here who have practiced this teaching for a long time, and I'm going to be talking about it in my presentation next week. So next week, I'm doing the workshop. The week after that, Reverend Dr. Karen will be back speaking. The week after that, we have Lori, our practitioner from the Center for Spiritual Living, Morristown. And then, listen, music is showing up in our world. And then at the end of the month, music is always welcome as far as I'm concerned. We have Dr. Raymond Anderson, somebody new who's going to be speaking to us. So we have a month filled with some wonderful messages, and what I welcome myself to and all of us is to know that we are the presence of the divine, and that all of us now make the choice to open up to that, to be present in it, so that this message isn't just words. It changes our lives. So welcome again. And today our practitioner is Jeff Starbuck. He's going to do some spiritual practice with us. And we have Reverend Rich with his music. So thank you very much.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take, taken in pure faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and true and free, as I continue walking in this mystery. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take, it's taken in pure faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way. I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am happier every moment, every day. And I am peaceful every moment, every day.
Something very small can bring you peace. Let us deliberately give our attention to tiny moments and experiences of peace, of harmony, of ease. My name is Jeffrey Starbuck, and I'm a licensed practitioner here. Here are a few moments. You're walking in the woods, and a dog with its owner approaches you. The dog's tail wagging vigorously. He comes up to you smiling, portraying its happiness to encounter you. The owner is also easygoing and friendly. The three of you pause a few moments together before moving on. Breathe in deeply. Hold for a moment. Breathe out deeply, releasing a wee bit of tension you may not have known you had. The sun's afternoon rays break through the leaves in the park, the forest, your backyard. The light sparkles. You feel grateful for the quiet, warm day, just the right temperature. You feel a comforting sense of satisfaction at the yummy meal you enjoyed earlier, which you ate just the right amount of. You settle in your chair and close your eyes for a moment, feeling the quiet, strong energy flowing through your body. Something very small can bring you peace. You reflect for a moment on the very uplifting talk you heard earlier in the week at the center or on YouTube. You sense the currents of energy rippling through you under the skin, near the surface, and also deep in the body. You ponder just how good it is to feel alive in this body right now, in this mind. Everyone take a deep breath in through your nostrils, hold it for a moment, and now breathe out through both nostrils or your mouth, a long exhale. You are sitting at the very center of the universe. We can say this because we don't know where the edges are, or even if there are edges. Reflect again within yourself that you are completely entitled to be exactly where you are and who you are. You are absolutely entitled to occupy the space that you do, that you are occupying right now. Breathe in. Breathe out. You belong here now. You belong here now. This life is a blessing, and you are blessed. Even if you don't believe that. This existence is filled with small moments, and you are experiencing one of those moments right now, and it is good. I want you to dwell for just a moment longer, or many moments longer, on the fact that it is good. That you are good and you are deserving. And that there are interruptions that come and that that's okay. And you are deserving even if you don't feel it. Even if you don't feel it, you're deserving completely. What I know for sure is that you are inseparable from absolutely everything in existence. You are connected to everything that is, that was, that will be. And there's no need to mention a higher power because he, she, it is absolutely intertwined with all of existence. That which is everywhere is exactly where you are right now, and you can never get away from it. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. And feel your bodies being where they are, in whatever degree of relaxation or tension that there might be. If there's tension there, that is what there is. Relax into it. Listen to the moments of silence in between the sounds that are occurring right now. Feel in between the breath. Sense the aliveness which is this body-mind. The vitality, the sacred vitality that is you in your totality, which includes all of your, what you call imperfections. And now, speaking of spiritual practice, what we've just been doing, of course, is a spiritual practice. And now I will speak a powerful word of truth, a spiritual mind treatment. This word is being spoken for everybody here, for everybody who is listening, everybody who will listen. Everybody on the planet who is alive in consciousness. There is one truth, one power, one presence, and it is good. It is completely present. It is never absent. It is in everything. It is in the physical body, in the vitality, and the circulation, and the right action of the physical system. It is in the body of the affairs of each one. It is prosperity. It is abundance, it is right action, it is good. And each one now appreciates and feels how it is good. Each one is now feeling this goodness. And I declare that each one is, when they leave here today, they will leave a changed person. This is now occurring. Each one present is now changing. Each one present is now opening to a greater good, to a greater knowingness of truth. Each one is exulting and in their life, in the feeling of vitality and exuberance that they are. Each one is feeling connected to all of their sphere, to their group of people, to their loved ones. There's love, there's connectedness, there's affection, there's vitality. There's right occupation. Anything that is needed in the life of anyone is now being provided. There is a pathway from right here to there. And it is now appearing before each one. The way is being whispered in each one's ear as they proceed along the path. This is a glorious universe. This is a glorious, and each one is experiencing the sense of blessedness that the masters experience, have experienced, and will experience. Each one here is a master in their own sphere, and that is good. Each one here is becoming more of what they want to be in this world. They are becoming more of what they want to be and feel and have appeared in this world. It is now occurring. Right now, it's occurring. Each one feels it, feels the vitality right now, and that's good. I am so glad. I'm so glad to know this truth. I'm so glad to speak this truth. I'm so glad to have been taught how to do this, how to utter these words of exclamation, these words of celebration, these words of joy, these words of creation, these words of rightness, of correctness, of harmony, of wisdom, of love, of light. I'm so glad for this silence. I'm so glad for this moment. I'm so glad for this conversation, this gathering today, for the talk that happens later, all of the talks that have happened earlier, and all of those talks which will follow today. I'm so glad to live in this fantastic, glorious existence that I am now in, and that is good. And knowing that this word is already delivered, it is already manifested, it has already borne fruit, it is already multiplied. Knowing that, I release it, and join me in saying, and so it is. So it is.
So the gifts of the Spirit, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the Spirit, are you ready to receive all the gifts of the Spirit? Love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the Spirit, are you ready to receive? Love, are you ready? Joy, are you ready? Yeah, peace. Are you ready? Are you ready to receive? These are the gifts of the Spirit. Love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the Spirit. Are you ready to receive? Gifts of the Spirit. Love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the Spirit, are you ready to receive? Compassion, are you ready? Forgiveness, are you ready? Yeah, laughter, are you ready? Are you ready to receive? Are you ready to receive? Yes, I'm ready to receive.
Yeah.
That's an oldie but a goodie. Played that at my first service with Reverend Michelle's church.
Wow.
22 or 3 years ago.
Wow.
We did that song. Anyway, I thought it fit John's topic, and I'm going to introduce our licensed practitioner who has become so much in this center, one of the guiding lights. I know, you don't want to hear it. And John's got the passion, so here he is. Jon Heron.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
It's so interesting how spirit expresses itself, especially when we come together on Sunday mornings or anytime we come together. Reverend Rich said something before and I went, oh, I've got to change my talk. He talked about the miracle of us showing up here every Sunday morning and how, since Reverend Karen retired here, we have had a service every single Sunday. Somehow or other, we've had wonderful talks. And I hope wonderful growth for us as individuals. And it applies exactly to what I wanted to talk about, because I've been noticing that we've been having new people come. And I thought it is really important for the new people to come here, not just to get the ideas behind the science of mind, but to learn the practices. You are a part of this community because we do spiritual practice together. Why do we do spiritual practice and why is it so important? I heard a story yesterday. I heard a recording of Dr. Ken Gordon. And I was going to tell this story at the end of my talk, but I realized from what Rich said, I need to start with that story. Dr. Ken Gordon was the spiritual leader of the Centers for Spiritual Living for many years. And he's a wonderful speaker. And he was talking about what is it that we do when we come here on Sunday, when we read together and pray together and do the things that we do. And he gave this analogy. If you've ever been on a cruise down in Florida, one of the things you can do from one of those ships is rent a big sphere that you can get inside that floats on the water, right? It's filled with oxygen or however they do it, whatever it is. You get inside and they close it and you can walk on the water because you're in this big sphere that is floating and you walk on the water. So Dr. Ken made this point. Think of the world with the 8 billion people, or however many people are on the earth, as one of those spheres. 99.99% of the people in the world go in whatever direction the sphere is going. That's what they do. And if somebody wants to change the direction, they can go off to the side, get a group of people, and start going like this. Well, the 99.99%, they're just going to go like that because they're just going in whatever direction the sphere is going. And then there's us. Those of us who are committed to a spiritual living in the consciousness of the presence of a spiritual truth in the world. And maybe those on that other side are pushing the sphere in a certain direction, and everybody's going in that direction because they're not making choices of their own. They're simply going whatever direction the sphere is going. And then there's us, who say that we want to go in the direction of love. We want to go in the direction of joy and peace, and that it exists in this world, inside every single one of us, or we exist inside it. And we go in that direction. And all we have to do is get more people going in that direction than are going in that direction. Because the 99.99%, they're just going to go whichever way the sphere is going. So that is like a perfect analogy of why it's so important for all of us to actually do the practice. And the practice that Ernest Holmes gave us is spiritual mind treatment, which we simply call treatment, or you could call it affirmative prayer. And so today I want to talk about the thought process behind treatment. Next week, I'm doing a workshop where we're actually going to do treatment. For those who don't know how to do it, we will learn how to do it. For those who do know how to do it, it's very important for us to hear each other, because as I will talk about, when you practice this, it opens up the truth that lives inside you. And it stops becoming a method and starts becoming a living thing that lives as each one of us. And so we do it in different ways. So like many of us, I practiced different teachings before I came to the science of mind, and I learned lots of wonderful things that are truly inspiring. I'm very glad that I studied those teachings and practiced those practices. But the thing that makes science of mind different for me is the practice. And the main practice is spiritual mind treatment. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, was a seeker, just like us. He studied all different teachings, and his goal was, is there a way to synthesize it, take it out, that we can practice and teach ourselves and each other how to live this life in the consciousness of spirit? And to follow the analogy that I was giving before, he devoted himself and wrote lots of books to teaching people how to go in that direction rather than going in that direction. So that the 99.9%, what we call the common belief of humanity, will go in the direction of love, the direction of truth. And so there are many other teachings that go very deep. The question for me has always been, how do I get from there to there? How do I get from the perception of the world as a difficult place to live, as a challenging place, where there's suffering and lack and people doing things that I just don't understand why they would ever consider doing? How do I get from that consciousness to the consciousness that what is present in the world is, in my words, infinite living blessing? Because that's what I call that truth that we sometimes call God or love or spirit or whatever. I call it infinite living blessing. How do we get from here to here? And the way that Ernest Holmes taught was through treatment. I see treatment as a bridge between the everyday world that we live in, and it's, if we're being honest, I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes it's hard to ignore that every day, and we don't want to ignore it. Our teaching is we look right at it, and we look beyond it, and we see that within it, there is a truth. And through spiritual mind treatment, we can experience that truth, engage that truth, and create change in ourselves and in the world. Now stop and think about that. I think many of us who practice this teaching for a lot of years, I know for myself, sometimes I take it for granted. Like Rich said before, it's sort of a miracle that we know this truth, and sometimes we forget how special it is. But by doing spiritual mind treatment, we engage with that place inside of ourselves. And we grow in consciousness. As Dr. Ken Gordon said in his talk, this is a teaching of consciousness. It's not a teaching of words, right? We often think that treatment is a thing of getting the right words. Those of us who've been doing this for a while, you remember back to the days when we had to get the words right. And we had to put a lot of words there because we wanted to make sure not to miss a word. And we were very maybe flowery, and it was like poetic and all that kind of stuff. And we were searching for the right words. But if you practice this, the searching for the right words changes because the words start searching for us. We wake up inside and the truth calls to us. I mean, let's face it. I can see the people who are here at the Masonic Temple today, those of you who may be watching from home or watching the tape in the future. Why? Why are you here? Why are you watching? Something is calling you. Something is saying that from your daily life, there's better. There's more. What is that thing that is calling you? That is calling each of us? And by the way, that's step one of a treatment. What is the thing that's calling us? That makes you get up out of bed and come down to the Masonic Temple or watch on Zoom or watch on Facebook? So, by practice, the searching for the words changes into the words searching for us. The truth that lives in each one of us expands, and we open to it, right? One of the things that Reverend Karen used to say all the time that I always think about is, what you focus on expands. It's a very simple thing if you think about it. Simply focus on something, and our minds, the way our minds work is, our minds are creative. What we think about is what we experience in our lives. So if you focus on something different, you will experience that. Now, there are specific ways of doing that focus, and part of learning how to do treatment is learning how to do that focus. But basically, what you focus on expands. If you want more love in your life, focus on love. If the confusion that the world is throwing at us nowadays makes you think that you're in danger, and you're focusing on the danger, guess what you get more of? Is that what you want in your life? And that is the basis of the science of mind teaching. One thing I do want to say is, so I get the opportunity to stand up here and give this talk today, right? I'm very aware that I'm in a room in which there are several practitioners and several other people who have been practicing and studying this teaching for a long time, and I know that any one of them could get up here and talk for 10 or 15 minutes about treatment, and you'd get real value out of that. Because at a certain point, that place inside of us becomes awake, and it shows us what we need to know as individuals. And it's different for each one of us. We have many disagreements here. Here we are on Sunday morning, and we have different disagreements about things. But what is true is that the divine lives within us, and we know it, and we are expressing it. So, as I said, there's something calling you, or you wouldn't be listening to this, or you wouldn't be here at the Masonic. What's calling you? The recognition of what's calling you is step one of a treatment. Recognition. You might recognize, for instance, you may say, my job is terrible. It's just the whole week long I'm miserable and all that kind of stuff. And I get a sense that through this teaching, maybe I can get a better job. Well, one of the things we learn as practitioners is it a better job that you're looking for? Maybe it's freedom that you're looking for, and a better job will give you a sense of freedom. And so your step one of a treatment will be, I know that there is freedom in the universe. Simple as that. Recognition. And step two is unification. That is recognizing that if you can see that freedom is what you want, that freedom lives inside of you, or you wouldn't even be able to think about it. So you are one with that which was spoken in step one of the treatment. You recognized it, and now you recognize that I am that freedom. It lives inside of me, right? That's step 1 and 2 of a treatment. And by the way, there are spiritual practices just on those step 1 and 2s. If you sat by yourself for 5 minutes, sat in the silence, or maybe put on some soft music, and think about what is it that's calling you. Not what's calling me, but what's calling you. And think as deeply as you can in the stillness of yourself. That's a spiritual practice. Do that every day. What you focus on expands. If you do that, you will find that that which you are looking for, that which is calling you, will expand in your consciousness, because this is a teaching of consciousness. Step 2, unification. My practitioner taught me to sit and do step 1 and 2. That's the spiritual practice. To know the truth and sit and know that that lives inside of me. I started doing it, when I started doing that first, I was doing it for 5 minutes. Because if I tried to meditate longer than that, I'd get a headache, right? And I was treating to get rid of the headache and blah, 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 all of this kind of stuff. Gradually, but I started in 5 minutes. And then when it was easy for me to do the 5 minutes, I went to 10 minutes. Of course, I'm a retired guy. I have 10 minutes in my morning that I can do. But most of us can find 5 minutes. Maybe you even do it while you're brushing your teeth or doing makeup or whatever you do, your morning routine. Now, I'm up to 25 minutes of sitting and contemplating that this glorious truth lives inside of me, lives inside of me, right? It is a living thing. That's why I call it infinite living blessing. Because I know it's not just an idea. It's not a thought. It is a thought, but it's more than that. It lives. It lives inside of us. So, one point I want to make about this is, you're not really doing anything here. The thought that you have to do this, it lives inside of you. It is simply waiting for you to say, oh, there's this truth inside of me. And focus on it, and it will expand. It has always been there. It always will be there. And for you, it might be love, it might be peace, it might be understanding, it might be freedom, and it might change at different times in your life. Focus on it. It lives inside of you. Focusing on it, it will expand. And so that's step 3, which we call revelation. The revealing in your actual world that you experience of this truth. Suppose you want more freedom. Suppose you go to a practitioner and you say, I want a new car. I want a red Porsche, right? That's one that's always used, a red Porsche. I've heard this many years, red Porsche, right? Your practitioner will ask you, well, why do you want a red Porsche? What's the experience you want? Oh, I think I would feel really free if I had a red Porsche. Oh, so you'd feel really free. Is freedom what you're looking for? No, you know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for joy. Joy is an expression of the highest truth. So you treat for joy and know that it's really coming. That's step 3. It's like a creative visualization that many of us have done in our lives, right? A very simple and focused creative visualization. You ask yourself the question, and if you work with a practitioner, they will ask you these questions to get down to what is it that you really want? What is calling you from within? Because if you have that, it's going to demonstrate, show up in your world in the most wonderful way and a better way than you could probably ever think of. You think you want a red Porsche? What if you walked around in this world with absolute joy? Who cares about the Porsche? I want the joy, right? And you can also have the Porsche. So that's the 3rd step. And then the 4th step is thanksgiving. It's just knowing very simply that this is a really wonderful truth, and I'm so glad to know this, right? As Jeff said in his treatment, when you do this, when you practice this, you will find all of us have found, any people who do spiritual practice, I think, find this. Your heart opens up. Your mind opens up. And you feel so grateful to experience that wonderful thing. That's step 4 of a treatment. You're doing it consciously. You're saying thank you. The great spiritual teacher, Meister Eckhart, the 16th century Christian mystic, he said, if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, that's enough. Right? If the only thing we ever did is truly open our hearts in humility and receive and ask, boy, our lives would change. Boy, our lives would change being in that place. And then step 5 of a treatment is releasing it. It's recognizing we're not the ones doing it. It lives inside of us. It's just waiting. Remember, there's that saying in the Bible, ask and it shall be answered. Knock and it shall be opened. We think of this as a religious statement. What if it's a statement of a principle that the world is based on? All you have to do is ask. It is waiting to give you exactly what you want. This is the teaching of the science of mind. So we release it. We allow the law, what we call the law, which is the law of giving and receiving, which works. Our thoughts produce results. So why not change your thoughts and produce different results? And so we release it and allow the law to do what it will do. Because the law only can say yes. The law can't say no. So I didn't set the timer. I don't know how long I've been speaking, but I want to close up 2 things. Please come next week. We will have a workshop. Remember, the more of us who are going in that direction, the 99.99% who are just not making a choice, just following the path of least resistance, the whole world will move in that direction. We have that power. We do. We just need to have enough of us going in that direction, so that the people who are going in that direction, the sphere turns around and goes there instead. Right? And I found this quote, and I thought I'd like to finish with this. One of the things that I go to for inspiration is the Gospel of Thomas, one of the Gnostic Gospels. It's a bunch of sayings of Jesus, as the great spiritual teacher, not as not as the person that we worship, but the great spiritual teacher. And this particular book, The Quantum Sayings of Jesus by Keith Giles, is one that has explanations of these sayings that I really find moving. And he says in there, you and I do not require masters or gurus to lead us around by the hand, the head, or the heart. The living truth that is within us has opened up a spring of intoxicating water, a river of life, and a well of endless living water deep within us. Drink deep. Be refreshed. Thank you.
It isn't giving that we receive. A way to initiate receiving is to give. This is as was just suggested by John, this is a universal principle on every level. It's a principle in what we call nature. It says we have an opportunity to give and to receive. We have an opportunity to feel gratitude for our being here. And so I'm going to pass this basket, which to me is a symbol, a mirror, a lens, something, a way of focusing something important. So that's the deal. Just remember, as we go along, the ocean refuses no rivers. The ocean refuses no rivers. We are becoming the ocean.
Lean into love, let spirit flow, infinite presence, all that we know. Mind creates so, think it true, love's here in all that we do. One with light, one with grace, guided action, time and space. No more fear, no more light. Love moves forward and never back. Lean into love, let spirit guide. Truth within, no need to hide. Power, peace, and joy divine. Infinite love is forever mine. Lean into love.
Now we will have a closing treatment by John. Oh.
Thank you.
So being in the presence of the divine. Every bit of this service has been the presence of the divine. And each one who has participated is the presence of the divine. This is the truth that I know for this wonderful group of people here at the Masonic, for anyone watching at home or anybody watching in the future. There is one infinite living blessing. I am that infinite living blessing. The universe is infinite living blessing. And I say infinite because it is everywhere. It is everything. It is beyond time. It is beyond space. And I say living because I know that it is not just a thought, not just an idea. It lives. And I say blessing because I know it as grace. That the universe is grace. It is the divine giving of itself to itself. And that is true of each one who has participated in this service. And so what I know is each one is now going forth into their lives being the presence of this truth. Each one is finding now love in their lives, peace in their lives, joy in their lives. And as each one goes through their week, they focus on that love, on that joy, on that peace, and it expands. Each one is now experiencing the expansion of their consciousness, and each one becomes the presence of the one in their lives. And it shows up as the most wonderful abundance of finance, abundance of health, abundance of the most wonderful relationships. And so each one is now living that life, the life of the consciousness of the presence of the divine. And it expands. Every day it expands a little bit more. And so I know this to be so, and I am truly grateful for this knowledge. And I release it to that which always says yes. It is already so. I know it to be so. And we say together, and so it is.